Hello, Pre-K. This is an optional Bible coloring lesson about the picture of Pentecost. This would be a lesson for Friday, May 1st, week 3-7. So, happy to have you join me with this lovely coloring project. It's pretty complicated, so you're going to need your Pre-K thinking cap for sure. You'll need colored pencils, all the major colors, and I think that's pretty much it. Well, you definitely need your tripod grip. All right. Christ is risen, students. Yes, he is. Let's get started. I'll show you what we're going to end up with. It's going to end up looking just like that. Woo. Okay. And for part of this program, I will probably end up pausing just so that we don't take so much time on a video, because I want you to do really good work. Maybe you can even decide to do it in a couple days. First thing you need, though, let's start with the first primary color, which is red. Okay, please get a red colored pencil. Red colored pencil. Pick up a pencil. Okay, find my pencil grip. Okay, for red, I'm going to show you the areas we're going to color. We're going to start on the left with this gentleman who's praying, and we're going to color nice and firmly in these creases, okay? All these little creases make a nice firm red line, okay? There we go. And in his sleeve, okay, all right? That's it for the dark red. Now, what we'll do is the light red, which is the rest of his robe. So I'm going to outline for you where the red's going to go. Do you see how I'm going around right here? Here's the top part of his robe, and then right along in through here, his sleeve. Then around the edge of his sleeve. Remember, we do the outside first. Okay, do the outside first. And we'll color on the bottom part of his robe, below his waist. Notice we're not doing his waistband, are we? And we'll come down the side edges here. There we go. Okay. And then along the bottom. Now, I'm going to pause the program while you and I both finish up this area. So you pause too. We'll finish filling all this in red. There we go. Did you finish that one? Does it look like mine? Careful not to do hands. All right, great. The next thing we're going to do that's red would be this gentleman. He's right in the middle. He's kneeling and looking right at you. He has an underrobe. So it's just this little area in between his hands and his cuffs that comes straight down between the robe. With red. We're doing that part with red. Okay. There we go. Okay. There's that part. And also, he has cuffs. Do you see his cuffs? We're going to make that dark red. So use a little bit of good pressure there. Now check your pencil hold. Where's your thumb? Pull it back then. If it's wrapped around like that, pull it back. There you go. And we'll do the one on our left there, and then we'll do this one over here. This is a fancy, this reminds me, these are fancy colored pencils. I can screw them out when they get too short. If your colored pencils are getting too short, your mom and dad might have a special sharpener for them, or they may be able to use something called a utility knife. They could do that for you and make them sharper. If not, perhaps you have another set of colored pencils at home that you could use. Yeah. If they're smaller, just make sure you check your pencil hold. That takes care of this gentleman. Then we're going to move over one gentleman to the right, and this one right here with his eyes are closed. We're going to do his sleeves, just his cuffs. They're going to be dark red too. This picture is going to be very colorful, and for a reason too. Whenever an artist paints a picture, he thinks about what he's putting in the picture, and he chooses colors and shapes and sizes for a reason. He thinks about it all. Well, I'm using colors today for a good reason. Many different colors. Okay, that's all the red for clothes. I want you to take your red colored pencil now. Finish these areas if you haven't done that already. And then each of these flames, do you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 little flames. I want you to lightly, just like this, lightly stay inside the lines, but lightly color them red, okay? I'm gonna pause and you pause. Lightly, very lightly color those red. We're gonna do something else with them. Okay, got that done? That's all we have for our first primary color, red. Tell me, what is the next primary color? We have red. What's the next one? Do you remember? Way back from the beginning of the year? Yellow. That's it, yellow. Well, who all are we going to color yellow in this picture? This person right here, we're going to color yellow. Just her main gown. So I will start by outlining the sections to color yellow. You can see she has the top part. I think this is a woman. She has her head covered, showing that she is honoring God and her head is bowed. I'm not coloring the band, just this top part here. Okay, and then this would be called a placket. We're not doing the placket either. And then she has a scarf over her head. We're not doing the scarf, but we are doing the sleeves. So do her right sleeve. We outline the edge of it first. Then we do her left sleeve, but not the scarf. Okay, there we go. And then her robe at the bottom edge. There's like this little triangle piece right here. Notice I'm not doing the cuffs or the hands or the belt. Okay, so a triangle piece there, and then just this whole section down here at the bottom. Okay, all of this down here. Yeah, right down here. Okay, so I'm going to pause the program while you finish, and I both finish filling in this area yellow. Go, finish it yellow. Okay, how'd that go? Double check yours and mine to see if you colored in the same spaces. So part of what we're doing today is reviewing our primary colors, but we are also practicing following directions and also careful coloring, so to make something beautiful. All right, the other person who has some yellow on his robe is this gentleman over here on the very right hand side of your picture. He has a yellow collar. Okay, so let's color his collar yellow. There we go. There's the yellow collar. You can color with me. And then he has these inner sleeves. So they go just to here and up here. Just like that. There we go. On both arms. That almost looks like an interesting shaped triangle, doesn't it? Okay, there we go. All right. So those are the only yellow clothes to do right now. But here's what I want you to do. For each of these flames, add some yellow. It will make it look a little bit more like fire. Remember, fire has kind of an orangey, reddy yellow. So take your yellow pencil and color over and mix in the yellow and the red on each of those flames of fire. And then we can see what it looks like when we're done. Oh, sorry, that's the bird clock. That happens to be the sound of a kingfisher. There you go. So you mix the two primary colors, red and yellow, and what secondary color did you get? Yeah, we got orange. That's kind of cool. So let's just pick up some orange and color the robes that are orange. Okay, find your orange, and we'll start here on the left. This gentleman right here has orange, an orange sleeve right here. My orange almost looks red, but it is supposed to be orange. Best I can do here. Yeah, that's orangish. Let's do this sleeve. That's a nice sleeve. And then inside over here he's got this fabric draped over his shoulder. That's a different color, but he has a tunic here in the front that also is orange. So we're going to color that tunic here, not the sleeve cuff. It's hard to tell, but here's another sleeve cuff. Okay, not the sleeve cuff. There you go. If you need to pause and look at this carefully, you can do that. And then we'll finish by doing all of this. I'll outline it here for you and then pause so that you can finish coloring of the bottom part of his tunic in a beautiful orange. Orange is a mix of which two colors? Red and yellow. We call it a secondary color. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to pause, finish coloring, and you do the same. All right. Got that finished. The next gentleman over here is the one we put red down the front middle. The rest of his robe is going to be orange. So remember, we'll outline the robe first and then we'll color it orange. But I wanted to chat with you a little bit about why I thought using many colors on this picture would be so good. What is happening in this picture? Remember the verse we learned with this one? Acts 1:8. But you shall receive power when the Holy Spirit has come upon you, and you shall be witnesses to me in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and to the ends of the earth. That's a lot of people and a lot of different places, isn't it? Yeah. And this is when the Holy Spirit came. They were all together in Jerusalem. They were praying and waiting, just as Jesus had said. He said, go in Jerusalem and wait until I send you the Holy Spirit. They weren't exactly sure how he was going to do it, but they waited and they prayed and they talked and they ate and they celebrated and they looked expectantly to see what God would do. And one day, while they were celebrating the harvest feast of Pentecost, the Holy Spirit came while they were in a room praying. And how he showed that he had come, because they couldn't see him with his eyes, was with a loud rushing wind, with these little things that look like flames of fire over their head. Not exactly sure what they look like, but something like that. Oh, I'll finish the story in a minute. There we go. All right, if you are not quite done with your orange yet, pause the program and finish that beautiful orange robe. Okay? That's the last of our orange. That's a secondary color. Put it there. So we have done our primary color of red, primary color of yellow. What's the third primary color? Yeah. Remember? It's blue. All right, so great. Let's take our blue and we're going to work our way from left to right. This gentleman right here has dark blue cuffs. Please color those cuffs on him dark blue. So while they were praying, the Holy Spirit came on them. And do you know the first thing that he did to show that what he could do? Remember, they were supposed to be witnesses. What did a witness do? A witness told something he had seen and heard. Okay, the cuffs are done. Let's lightly do this man's robe here, the fabric that goes over his shawl. Well, the Spirit, these were just ordinary men. They were fishermen. One of them was a tax collector. One of them, they were just daddies like your daddy who had jobs. And they didn't know any languages, but guess what? The Holy Spirit gave them the ability to speak in many different languages. Do you remember that? Maybe your mom and dad already read you that story. They started being able to speak in all the languages of the people who came to Jerusalem to visit for the big feast. Because people had come from all over the world to celebrate Pentecost. So as soon as the Holy Spirit came, these men went out with their new languages that they could speak, and they could walk into the street and tell people about Jesus in their own language. Yeah. And it was wonderful. And many people that day, when they heard that Jesus lived and died, they wanted to love him too. Okay, let's move along here. We're going to come to the man who's kneeling. His outer robe is blue. Right here. Many of them just stopped right where they were and said, oh, we want to love Jesus too. And so they asked Jesus to forgive their sin and heal them and forgive them and call them to be his own. But then, do you know what he did? Oh, let's make this area right here really dark. After the feast was over, all the people who now knew about Jesus in their new language, they took it back home, right? And they told everyone at their home. They told the rest of their family and all their neighbors and their friends, so that the good news of Jesus went about all over the world. It's pretty sweet. It was a powerful thing for the Spirit to do. And also for the Spirit to make those people who were hearing about Jesus for the first time and who he really was and why he really came, instead of saying, oh, we don't want that, the Holy Spirit changed their hearts inside, so they wanted to hear about Jesus. That was a miracle too. Yeah, that we love Jesus and talk to Jesus, it's a miracle that we know him, because God gave us a new heart. And it's so wonderful every day. We can thank him that he's done that for us. Okay, that's all for our third primary color, red, yellow, blue. We've done our first secondary color, orange. What is the next? Orange comes in between red and yellow. What's the secondary color that comes right in between blue and yellow? Do you remember? Purple? Nope, it's not purple. It's green. Let's take our green. All right, we'll start from the left. A nice dark belt. Here we go. Nice dark belt and a nice dark collar. This won't take very long. There we go. And moving along, this gentleman at the very back who's standing up with his arms out, the main part of his robe is green. Okay, so we'll go. I will outline these shapes for you here on this man. Careful not to do the flame on the man below him. So we'll outline it, and then once I have it outlined, you can pause the program and fill all the green in. There's basically 4 places. Each of the sleeves, and then his front area here. It's a little bit like a rectangle with a circle at the top. You're going to fill all that in. And then if you go down here below, you'll see his robe kind of behind this lady's gown, standing here, and comes over this way, up this way, around this gentleman's eye, but not getting his hair. Oh, check your pencil hold. Where's your thumb? There you go. Okay, we're going to go right here, like that. Okay, now I'll go fill all that in, and you do that too, and then come back. Pause it now. There you go. He's all green. Let's move along here a little bit, and we'll come to the woman in the middle. She has a green belt too. Let's do a nice dark green belt. If you color a little bit more firmly, watch your pencil hold though, so that I was doing this a little bit. It's tempting, but it makes your finger tired, so keep your fingers nice and rounded. There we go. Green right there. Good. Okay, moving along. This man right here, he has green cuffs. Nice dark green cuffs. Yep. Kind of make the outside dark and the inside light. And the same here, make this dark outside. There we go. Okay. And then we do his inside robe. Just a little bit we can see right here. And then we can see between his hands are a little bit green. And then we can see the section below here that's also green. Okay. fill that in. Got a crease, a little darker. There. All right. If you're not quite done with that yet, please pause the program. And if you're getting a little bit tired, feel free to stop for today and take a little break, and come back a little later, come back tomorrow. Keep your hand in good shape. Don't wear it out too much. Yeah. Okay, so finish up that green, and then we'll scoot over to this gentleman here. This is a bit more complicated, okay? We're gonna start at the top of his robe. He's got a little piece on the far side. Then he has this piece here in the front, but not the fabric that goes over his arm, the shawl. There we go. And then we have the piece that comes up here, and his part of his sleeve. There we go. Yeah, you're having to follow careful directions, aren't you? Great. Good for you. Boy, you've grown so much this year in following directions. Now, this is a tricky bit. Are you going to be with me here? Okay, we're going to do, can you see there's just one, it almost looks like a triangle right here. Okay, that's going to be a light green. Then right in here, this section is a dark green because that's inside his sleeve. Okay, and down here is sort of a little, almost like a really, really fat, skinny U. That's dark green. Okay, and then this right in here is part of the top part of his clothes. That's a little bit green. That's complicated, but you can follow that, right? And then down here, we just have this one section that's green. This very first section right here. All right. But careful, see that little rectangle right there? That's his belt. That's not green. Okay. Tricky coloring. Good for you. Okay. That's it for our secondary color, green. Let's think about the other secondary color. Orange, green, and yay, purple, violet. Let's use violet. Okay, starting from the left side, the first thing we come to that's purple is the gentleman who's standing up, his cuffs. They're going to be a nice dark purple. Color those purple, and both of those cuffs. Okay, there we go. Lavender. Lavender's usually lighter. Yeah. He has a violet belt. And then at the edge of this scarf over his head, he just has purple trim, flat violet trim. And there's a little teeny, weeny piece right here. Look at that, so tiny. There we go. Now, this woman, her headscarf is purple. Okay, so we'll color that headscarf purple. Follow it all the way around here. There we go. It's a light purple. All the way around. There you go. And remember, if you're not quite done with this yet, but I'm done, please pause it and finish